I've been doing martial arts for a little over 25 years. And between the years 2000 and 2017, I had 24 surgical procedures. A lot of those were from kidney stones. And then hopefully you never haven't had them. And if you ever heard they're terrible and the pain is awful, it's true. Okay. But besides that, I've had at least 7 orthopedic procedures. I have 2 hip replacements, both right and left. I've got 2 fused vertebrae, L4 and L5 from spinal stenosis. Both knees, I've had 4 knee operations. The bane of my existence is regular osteoarthritis. And so I've had to recover. I've had to do stuff to try to get moving again, which is why Larry thought that I would make a pretty good instructor, because I've gone through at least some things. A lot of you all have much more serious challenges than I've had, but I wanted to show you what you could do if you don't give up and you keep moving. One of the strangest ones that I had, and that's the most recent, didn't require any surgery though. October of last year, suddenly I couldn't lift my left arm higher than that. Okay. In fact, I was teaching a Tai Chi class. Just try to hold your questions for a bit. I was teaching a Tai Chi class, and one of the first movements you have to do is this. And my left arm starts shaking as I try to get it around. And by the end of the class, I'm having to support my left arm. Well, after confusing 3 neurologists, they settled on something called Parsonage-Turner syndrome, which they believe might be a viral infection in your nervous system, basically. So, you know, had a couple steroid shots and stuff like that. And yeah, almost back up to normal strength in a year. So that was one of the stranger ones. The point of all this is, again, I've had to deal with limitations, and I've worked through them. A big part of recovering from that was both my Tai Chi and my Kung Fu exercises, which I'm going to try to share a bit with you. So both my Tai Chi and my Kung Fu I've learned from a single teacher, Grandmaster Weill Liang. He is an internationally recognized expert in both what we call external Kung Fu and internal Tai Chi and a couple other disciplines. I've worked with many different people over my career. I've taught, at last count, over 3,000 people. So I've enjoyed it. It's very rewarding. It's a lot of fun. Not the only thing I've done. I've got 2 degrees from Hopkins, an undergrad degree in bioengineering and master's in computer science. I've got 3 patents. I've worked as an engineer and in the computer field for close to 30 years before my wife and I quit our jobs 13 years ago to take over the school. My wife and I own this school, U.S. Martial Arts Academy in Cockeysville, Maryland. And we do, as I said, both Tai Chi and Kung Fu. All right, enough of that talking. I'm going to go through a couple things today. I got to make sure I look at my marker so you can see. We're going to do some warm-ups and stretches. I'm going to try to do them several different ways because I know people have different challenges. You know, some of them standing, some of them sitting in a chair, some of them sitting down. As I learned with my hip replacements, when you've got weak muscles and tendons, you want to be sitting down when you stretch, or you can risk dislocating the nice hip that I was just given, which I almost did. And I'm just scrolling a little bit. I write notes because I can tend to get talking like it sounds like Larry can, and I lose track of time, okay? Tai Chi is wonderful. In traditional Chinese medicine, good health is dependent on 2 things: good blood flow, good airflow, and it really helps with both of those. So I'm going to show you some things. We are going to do some breathing exercises at the end, towards the end of the class, to try to give you some things that you can do to try to increase your lung capacity. Better breathing, more oxygen, more energy throughout your whole body. Okay? On to the Tai Chi part. We're going to do some warm-ups first. And again, I'm going to try to do it in a couple different ways. Caveats. If anything hurts, stop. Always move very slowly, okay? And you know, you do what you can. Everyone has different levels of ability. Remember, I've been doing this a long time, even though with my various injuries and whatnot, I've recovered very well. If your doctor tells you no, don't do it, okay? Always consult with your doctor before you start any kind of new exercises, things like that. That's very important. As Larry's wont to say, no, I am not a doctor, although I play one on TV. No. That bioengineering degree really helped me with Kung Fu. Okay, first, a lot of different warm-ups that I'm taught. I'm going to do a couple of the very basic ones. One area a lot of people forget to warm up are their shoulders and their neck. So I'm going to do first one for your shoulders. I call them shoulder shrugs. You sort of roll your shoulders. I'm trying to get as close as I can. I call this rolling forward. When you circle forward, and you want to do it 5, 6 times, and then you go backwards. This is a great one to do if you've been sitting at the computer for a long time. So you roll your shoulders, okay? That helps loosen up everything on the top part of your body. And obviously you could do this one sitting down too. And so the second one too, you'll see me roll a chair in and out. So the second one, your neck. The current theories on loosening up your neck is that you shouldn't roll. I've got a traditional exercise I do rolling my neck, but I've switched to one which is very simple. Gently rock your head from side to side. You'll see me come forward and then back in the camera, just so you can see. So side to side. Oh, by the way, one of my good friends is a well-respected neurosurgeon in this area. And he looked at my MRI one time on my neck and said, well, Paul, do you know every disc in your neck is gone? And then front to back. So you tilt forward and back. And again, very slowly. When he saw my expression, he said, oh, don't worry, it's not a big deal in your back. I mean, your neck. The ones we got to worry about is your back. He was the one that helped diagnose my spinal stenosis. Brilliant doc. Okay. A little bit of the upper body. I'm going to stay seated. I'm going to start this one off for your shoulders, sitting down. And if you look, I've got basically a back, no armrest on my chair. For your shoulders, there's a simple one where you just circle your arm. You circle it forward about 10 times and then backwards. Okay? Now I'll shift standing. Typically when you're standing, if I'm going to use my left arm, I'm going to put my left leg back so it's out of the way as I circle my left arm. And again, you want to do this very slowly. And also, if it hurts, stop. Okay? So you circle, I say, up 10 times, down 10 times. Okay? You see Larry over here on the side. That's all right. You can be in the picture. Okay? And that's good. Then with your feet pretty much together, not together, but pretty much parallel, a little wider than your hips. You circle your arms together in front. I'll just move back so you see the top of my hands. So you circle them clockwise, and they don't have to stay in unison. If you look, my arms aren't staying all the way together. And then you circle them the other way. My left shoulder clicks every time I do this.
I just got some background.
Okay. All right. Since I'm standing, now this one, be very careful with if your balance isn't too good today. If you notice, I got a bag here. This is, we used to hit it, but you'll see me sometimes, I know a lot of you will have to steady yourself when you do some of these, and that's fine. Remember, do it slowly. You feel any pain, you stop. Take your right hand, put it under your chin. If you're standing, and I'll do this one sitting down. I'll show you how you can do it sitting down. Put your right leg straight, and if you can see, my toes are up. And gently bend your elbow, bend at the waist. And it's as if you're trying to touch your elbow to your toes. Larry says I'm showing off here. This one is designed for all the muscles in the back of your leg and your waist. Okay? Then left side, left leg out straight on the heel, left fist under your chin, and gently bend at the waist Try again, elbow down to toes.
Make sure that right arm comes up in the air behind you.
Thank you, Larry. I just do it automatically. Okay. So you're going to do it again. I'm going to sit down for this one. For those who can't, who don't feel comfortable standing, my right leg's out straight. I'm going to put my right fist under my chin. I'm just going to bend at the waist. See, I still feel it, even doing it like this. And when you get down as far as you can, you always hold it a couple seconds. Then on the left side, left hand under your chin, left leg out straight. Just make sure the chair doesn't scoot out from underneath of you. Okay? And I'm going to switch for the last way to do it. If you're more comfortable sitting down, yeah, you can sit down and do it. Right fist under the chin. Bend your right elbow towards your right toes. You hold it, then you do the left. So you can do this standing, sitting, or on the ground. I was telling Larry before you all connected that I learned the hard way, almost, after my first hip replacement, that as my doctor had warned me, he did a hip replacement, cut me on the side. He said, Paul, I had a distributed muscle and tendon. They got to build back up. So I learned the hard way. I'm not going to do it here because it's kind of extreme, but I was doing a stretch like this. I get over to here and I feel my right hip starting to dislocate. So I just plop down on my butt. So I talked to the doc about it. He said, Paul, it's weak. When you're weak, you sit down and do those things. So you got support, okay? So especially if your balance is a little bit off one day, sit down and do it, okay? Then this one, so we did neck, shoulders, a little bit of back, a little bit of legs, okay? This one, I'm going to step back a little bit so you can see my whole body. Again, if your balance is off, you can do this sitting in the chair. I'll do a couple reps doing it in the chair, this first part. But standing, you're working on your balance too. So you're standing, your feet pretty close together. Raise both arms straight at your side. Go all the way up. I'm going to step back so you can see above your head, palm to palm. Keep your hands together, coming down. When they come down as far as you can, you lace your fingers, push down the rest of the way, then circle them up, and release, okay? Or if you're sitting in a chair, it's the same thing. Raise the arms out, all the way above your head, palm to palm. Bring your hands, try to keep your hands together as far down as you can. This is working on your wrists a bit. Lace them, go down into your lap, and then up, okay? Then the last one, standing again. So you do it 3 times. So it's palm to palm, bring your hands down as far as you can, lace them, go down, swing up. Okay. All right, so a show of hands is, if I'm going too fast for you, raise your hand. Okay, I'll slow it down a little bit. I see a couple people raising their hand. I'll slow it down a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay, now this next one, especially if your balance is a little bit off today, be very, very careful with this one. You start the same way that you did before. And if your balance is a little bit off, have your feet a little wider, okay? I keep them close together because I need to work on my balance, which I'll explain in a minute. So you start off the same way we did before. Raise your hands all the way above your head, palm to palm. You bring your hands down just like you did before, and this is about as far as I can go down. Then I gotta lace my fingers, I go down, I swing up, but I don't release my hands. Watch me do it this first time. I'm gonna bend at my waist, and I'm gonna circle. Nice and slowly so my body can adjust. So I'm gonna circle. Clockwise. See how slowly I'm going. I'm keeping my fingers together. Okay? I'm going to try doing it 3 times clockwise. And then I go back the other way, counterclockwise. And again, you always do these slowly. My teacher yelled at me one day. I was coming in late to his class, and I'm speeding through my warm-ups. He says, Paul, don't worry. Do it slowly before you hurt yourself. So he's funny. He's a very nice gentleman. Okay. You look at from people that I can see, great. Now, and I should have said, you know, some people, you know, they're going to go down like this. That's as far as they can go. That's fine. I do this 6 days a week, people, and for hours each day. So yeah, when I do it, I can touch my toes down there. All right. I do this 6 days a week for 4 to 8 hours a day. So I'm lucky that's my job. Now, I said I'd explain before I go on to the next part. I told you I had spinal stenosis, narrowing of the spinal, the column, basically your spinal cord goes through, it's pinching nerves. What happened was I was going completely, first it was pain, then completely numb all the way down. I had to actually look at my foot to see if it was touching. I waited too long for the surgery. If my balance goes off a little bit when I'm on my left foot, it's because I lost a lot of muscle control in my left calf. It's gotten better. I'm keeping working on it. But like on my left, I can't go up on my toes like that on my left. I just can't do it. That's why my walk's a little bit off. I sometimes will lose my balance when I'm supporting myself on my left. But Tai Chi has really helped me get better with it. But so if you see me, you know, stumble a little bit, that's why. Okay? All right. Just let me pause for a moment and think if I want to do any other warm-ups. That's probably good for warm-ups. All right. Tai Chi. Tai Chi basics. There are 2 basic things in Tai Chi. When you're walking, when you're moving, you never put weight on a leg unless that foot is flat. Okay? That's a common reason why people fall. They'll just be up on their heel, they try to go forward and they can't keep their balance. You want your foot that you're putting the weight on to be flat. Okay? The other thing is, if you've got weight on a foot, don't try to twist it or turn it. You put too much strain on your knee. You always quickly take the weight off, then move it. You're going to see this in one of the basic exercises I'm going to tell you. Once that foot's turned and flat, then I can put weight on it and move. Okay? Actually, I forgot, there are 3 things. I'm going to exaggerate this. Just lift my fancy coat. If your legs are straight, it is much harder for your body to balance. Always, I'm going to exaggerate this. Obviously, you don't go that bent. Always have your knees a little bit bent. The human body balances much better on slightly bent knees than it does on straight. Okay, the body, for your balance, you have to do a lot of small muscle adjustments, okay? And the body really needs to be able to do that, and it can do it better when your knees are bent, okay? So those are the basics. Now, in the way I'm taught Tai Chi, in our typical classes, we do the warm-ups, we do some stretches, and then we learn a sequence of moves. We just call it a form. Some martial arts styles call them katas, but what I've been taught is called Yang style Tai Chi long form. And it is a long form too. It usually takes about a year practicing 2 or 3 times a week to learn it the first time. We're going to do a little bit of that, but even before we do that, you know, looking at the faces and all, like I said, I'm 63. Yeah, I've been walking for about 63 years or 60 years. And when my teacher started teaching me Tai Chi, when I hit like 45, he said, Paul, you're getting older. You got to switch to Tai Chi. I said, no, I like Kung Fu. But he said, you Americans, you have so many problems because you don't walk right. Okay? We're going to go through a better explanation of Tai Chi walking. And when I say for the basic stuff, just put your hands on your hips. And if you look, I mapped out a pretty small area because I know you all don't have a whole lot of room. Now I'm going to get pretty close so you can see how I do it. So with Tai Chi walking, bend your knees a little bit more. You step out with one foot. Heel, put your foot flat, then you shift your weight to it. See, my knee bent, so I put more weight on it. Before I move, I want to twist that foot. I take the weight off, I spin the foot so it's angled out a little bit, then I put the weight on it, I bring my back foot up to my front, then I step with the other foot. Get it flat, shift the weight to it, take the weight off, spin or open it. And I'm doing that because that's a more comfortable knee angle for when I step forward. I shift my weight to it, back foot comes up, and I step. Okay? So like I said, you don't want to try to balance if you're up on your toes or you're just on your heel. You want to get your feet flat. Okay? So go back. There is a backwards walking, but honestly, that gets kind of tough. I had a lot of trouble with that when I was recovering from my various injuries and surgeries. All right, so step with one foot, heel, get the foot flat. You bend the knee on the same side to shift your weight to it. And also try not to lean when you do this, okay? Take the weight off, spin it or open it to the outside. So I'm pointing out. I get it flat. I shift my weight to it. I bring the back foot up to the front foot. Then I step forward with that foot. And see, I've got my weight over the hip of the foot that has the balance, that's flat. Okay? Then I shift my weight after the front foot's flat. Take the weight off, spin or open it, shift the weight, back foot comes up, and step. Okay? Now, why bring the back foot up to the front? If I did a typical walk and I just step right forward, when my weight is shifting and I get to about here, I'm sort of unstably balanced on that one foot and I go right forward. It's easy to fall. If I bring that back foot up, I've stabilized my weight over a foot that's nice and flat. I've got my balance. Then I can move my other leg, which is only a small bit of my weight, out without so much a chance of losing my balance. Then I can shift. Obviously, when you're walking normally, it's very hard to notice. But I walk, if I'm going straight, I walk sort of now in a zigzag pattern. I'm going to exaggerate it. It's not quite that exaggerated, but you see what I mean. I try not to walk like this. Okay? That requires more muscle strength, more balance to do that. And you want to consciously step out and make sure you got your heel and then your toe. Our oldest Tai Chi student is 90. He turned 90 in July. He has 2 knee replacements. It's my father-in-law, my wife's husband. About 7 years ago, before his knee replacement, we noticed he's doing this. Okay, he's shuffling. Very easy to lose your balance when you're shuffling. Okay, very unstable way to walk. And we said, Dad, you don't have a choice. You're coming in here and taking Tai Chi. Within 3 months, he's back to this. Because we retaught him how to walk. And now we might, if this goes on, I was telling Larry about my father-in-law. And he says, oh, Paul, you got to get him in here. And he loves being on stage, so I don't think it'll be a big stretch. But if you see him and how he moves now, you wouldn't be able to tell his age or that he's got 2 artificial knees. And this is what really helped him with it. Now, okay, you notice when I'm doing this, I take a pretty big step, okay? If you're having trouble with your balance, just take a small step. You don't have to stretch out like I'm doing. You still do the moves, and it's a lot easier to keep your balance because this step doesn't take as much leg strength or as balance as that step. Honestly, my youngest Tai Chi student is probably 60. But you can tell the difference between the 60-year-old and my father-in-law. Yeah, my father-in-law's steps, you know, they're nice. They're a nice gait. I mean, but the 60-year-old will be out like this because muscles are stronger. Okay? It's gentle exercise, but it really does work on your upper leg muscles, both the front, both your quads, and then the hamstring group in the back. Believe it or not. Okay? Let me take a sip of my drink. With all this talking, my mouth's getting dry. There are many, I mean, we are going to just touch on like that much of Tai Chi today. I've been doing it about, about 15, 18 years. I'm still considered a beginner in the Tai Chi community, only doing it 15 years. My lead Tai Chi instructor, he's been doing it over 35. And you might, if this goes on, you might see a guy named Mr. Jeff. We're both about the same age. Jeff is a little bit older. And then I got this character to deal with too. Anyway, all right. So let's do a little bit more of the walking. So remember, if you feel a little unsteady when you're doing this, take smaller steps, all right? Bend your knees, step out with one foot, heel, get that toe down, make it flat, you shift your weight. Take the weight off, spin or open it, get it flat, shift your weight to it, then bring your back foot up, I sort of touch, then I step. Now I'm going to do this, forgot that I wanted to do this going towards the camera too. All right, so I take my step, heel, toe, shift. Take the weight off, spin or open it, put the weight on, back foot comes up to the front, and then I step. Heel and toe, shift, back, open. Now my foot's going to go out of frame in this next one, so I didn't want to go too far back. Now see, I really have to think. I'm bouncing on my left leg right now. Oh, that worked out pretty well for me today. Sometimes it's not so good. Okay. Now I tried, since Larry got a hold of me, I tried to figure out an analog or something you could do with this sitting down. This one's kind of tough to translate, doing the exercise sitting down. And I've thought a lot about that. I'm going to continue thinking about that to see what I can come up with. Because the basic goal of this is to regain your balance walking. Okay, so it's kind of hard to translate to a sitting down. One of the things we'll do a little bit later, yes, there's upper body movements too, so you could do them sitting down. A real benefit of Tai Chi and Kung Fu is you move constantly 3 out of your 4 limbs, 3 out of your arms and legs, same time, different directions, okay? Really helps with the mind-body coordination part of this, okay? So it seems like a simple thing, but it really does help. And especially, you all, I'm sure your docs have told you, walking is one of the best exercises. It is, okay? It's easy on the knees, easy on the ankles. Jogging, running's a lot harder on those 2 joints. Because you're working the biggest muscles in your body. You use energy, okay? You get your muscles stronger, and it helps with your coordination. Now, I'm gonna do just the walking one more time, and then for people that are picking it up well, I want to show you there's a hand motion, arm motion that goes along with this if you like. But first, just the Tai Chi walking again. Again, you try to keep your back up straight. I have a bad habit of hunching. Too many years working on the computer. Bend your knees, step out with one foot, heel, then toe. When it's flat, shift your weight. Take your weight off, spin or open. Get that foot flat, shift your weight to it. Remember, bring the back foot up to the front foot, then step out with the front foot, with the new front foot. Make sure that foot's flat before you shift your weight. And I'm purposely taking shorter steps right now. Spin or open. Put the weight on. Back foot up to the front. See, that's a stabilizing move. Then the other foot goes front. Shift, Take the weight off. Open. Back foot up to the front. And finish. Okay? So it's a basic walking exercise. And in our form, we do it a lot. We move, in the form, you move back and forth. You go in at least 8 different directions in the form. And that's also part of the mind work, okay, trying to remember it, okay? Now, upper body moves. Start with, have your right foot behind you, left foot in front. Your left hand, put it low. You know, I don't have my arm locked. I've just got it as low as I can. So left arm is low. The right hand is pushed straight out. So you're like this. Let me turn this way. Okay, so you're like this. Okay? It's almost a swimming-like motion. We're going to do it without moving our feet first. So it's a swimming motion. So your upper hand, this is our right hand, swings in front of the body. The left hand comes up to the ear, and then the left hand pushes out, the right hand is down. Now this one you could do sitting in a chair. So I think of it as pushing someone away in front, you push them down, your lower hand comes up to your ear, and then you push. So your upper hand is the first one to move. It swings in front of your body, then it goes down. At the same time, you're bringing your back hand up, and then when you push out with your upper hand, your lower hand turns in front of you. And just going sideways once. So I push down, back hand comes up, I push out. Okay? So look on this side and out. And if you notice, my waist is turning. When I do the push in front, my waist turns to that side, my hand comes up, and then when I push my upper hand out, my waist twists back to the front. Okay? We call, in Tai Chi circles, we call this brush knee, because this lower hand brushes in front of your knee as you move. Okay? So the timing of it is, when this upper hand pushes in front, you start moving the lower hand up to your ear, and then the upper hand goes down, and then you twist your waist and push out. Okay? So it's called brush knee walking because your one hand brushes in front of your knee. Sorry, let me take a...
That one was actually fun.
This, you do a lot in the sequence of moves or form that I'm called. And you know, I don't know whether you heard, Larry said it's actually hard. Yes. Okay. Now, to step it up a notch. And don't feel bad if you can't get the following, all right? Some people pick it right up. Other people take a while. There are hand motions that go along with Tai Chi walking, all right? My right foot's back, my left foot's in front. My left hand is down, my right hand's out. And you'll see why. This can take a little while to get. The foot motions are the same, okay? My weight comes off. As I'm opening that front foot, my hand pushes in front, the back hand comes up, back foot comes up, front foot steps, then I turn my waist. So my right hand brushes in front of my knee, my left hand pushes out. Like I said, I'm moving all 4 limbs, different ways, synchronized. So I'm just gonna step back, because I don't want to go out of frame. I'm trying to stay as close to the camera as I can. So my right foot's back, left foot's in front, left hand's down, right hand's out. Okay? So take the weight off your left foot, spin or open it. And that motion, you start pushing in front with your right hand. The right hand goes down, left hand comes up. Shift your weight to the left foot. Bring your right foot up. Step with your right foot, heel toe. As you shift weight to your right foot now, you twist your waist. So the right hand circles in front, left hand pushes out. So going straight at the camera, because it'll give you a different angle on it. Can't think of an analog, folks, on this one if you're sitting down. But I am going to show you how to do the arm motion sitting down, okay? Right foot's back, left foot's in front, right hand's out, left by my knee. So just watch one time. So I take the weight off my left, I spin it over my foot, and see that turns my waist, so my right hand goes a little bit in front. Then my right hand goes down, I'm shifting my weight forward to the left, left hand's up. Right foot comes up to the left, heel toe on the right, it's flat now. As I shift weight to my right foot, I turn, the right hand goes in front of my knee, my left hand pushes straight out. Okay? You could do this sitting down, especially if you got a swivel chair. So you turn, right hand turns to, I'm sorry, I've got my left hand high, my right hand's by my knee. So I turn my waist, the right hand goes down, left hand goes down, sorry, right comes up to my ear, I turn in front. A swivel chair is what you need because you turn your waist, all right? Huh? Oh, it's fine, this one's fine. Okay, so then I turn to my left, my right hand goes to the right, as it goes down, my left hand comes up to my ear, then I turn my waist towards the front, my left hand pushes out, right hand's by the knee. What I suggest, like I said, doing the feet, doing the lower body, upper body at the same time can be very confusing, all right? What I always suggest to people is get in a chair, all right? So, you know, we'll do it the same way. We'll do it the same way. Left hand down, right hand out, okay? So do the same way we were doing with the foot motions. So I turn to my left, my right hand pushes in front or walks in front. As my right hand goes down, my left hand comes up to my ear and I look at it, make sure it's there. And then I twist towards the front. My right hand is sweeping in front of my body, my left hand pushes out. So what you can do is you can split it up, okay? You can work on your hands first, you can work on your feet, and then when you feel adventurous, you can try to put them all together. And as I said, this can take some practice. It really can. All right?
Can you see what that looks like all together?
You just did it. Yeah.
In your, how do you do it with practice?
Oh, sure, with practice. And it's not going to be any faster. Tai Chi is done slowly, okay? Now I try to smooth the motions. Oh, there's my left leg. See, I told you. I try to smooth the motions out. See, I got to stand on my right leg. See how I rock back as I'm adjusting my foot?
It's very beautiful and graceful.
Now, since he volunteered, Mr. Larry, get over here. Okay? So we're going to do this very slowly, Mr. Larry. So right there, and face me. Did you know Tai Chi was originally developed as a self-defense art? Okay? If you know what you're looking for, you see it. Step towards me and slowly punch to the center of my body with your right hand. What does this look like? We just did it. It is, again, please, it is a block, push it down, wham, right at the head. It's a block and a strike. When in my classes, Mr. Larry, I always point out, you do some weird looking things and you say, what is that? And a lot of them are self-defense moves, okay? I mean, this is, when you speed it up, you're there.
So
Yeah.
this will be great with a partner,
Yes.
with my partner or my caregiver.
You just got to be careful you don't hurt each other, okay? Because you can. I mean, it is definitely a self-defense art.
But to practice the motion, that made it much easier. What we just did made it much easier for me to follow along.
Well, I'm going to get onto the breathing because I just noticed the time. But Mr. Larry, can I borrow you? There's one in our form, which I'll see. I want to do the breathing next. And if we have time for it, we might not. But there's a really neat move that you do further on in the form. Again, step and punch at me with your right, okay? I go down, I come up right under his neck. I put my foot behind him so it's harder for him to step out of it. So it's a block, boom, right like that. People can usually see that, okay? All right, like I said, basic stuff. Excuse me, I have year-round allergies. Okay, breathing. It's called Qigong breathing. You could do this sitting down. I'm going to do it standing up just because some of you are good with the balance, some aren't, but you can definitely do this sitting down. And I'll do a couple repetitions sitting down. Feet a comfortable width apart, a little bit wider than your hips, knees slightly bent. Okay? The way we hold our hands, this is called Tai Chi hands. Okay? Where you've got the forefinger and the thumb out like this, and the other fingers just curl in. So if you straight on at the camera, it looks sort of like this. There's a reason for that too. Okay? I'm going to do a real simple breathing exercise for you. And doing it from the side. All we're going to do, the hand motion is up, out, back, down. Okay, but there's breathing in with it. I used to drive the nurses crazy with this after my surgeries. You'll probably be able to see why if you've had surgery before. Raise your hand if you know what a spirometer is. That breathing thing, after you've been under anesthesia, they want to make sure your lungs are really inflating and stuff. I drove crazy with this one. All right, so arms, knees nice and loose. Take a couple nice breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice and slowly. Okay. Then I want you to take one more breath in and then exhale. Okay. And don't breathe in yet because we're going to move our hands when we inhale. So nice breath. Exhale. Now, when you breathe in, slowly bring your hands up. Try to slow your inhale. Exhale, push your hands out. Inhale, bring in. Exhale, go down. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands out, straight out in front of you. Inhale, bring your hands in. Exhale, hands down. Now, and that's how you can stop. With practice, let me show you the speed that I do this at. And I will be inhaling the total time my hands move and the total time they move out. And that's a little fast. The idea is, our normal breathing, we're not totally inflating and deflating our lungs, okay? If you slow and control your breathing, so you breathe in very slowly, gives your chest cavity a chance to expand. Diaphragm moves up, you completely expand, and then the slow exhale allows you to get out as much air as possible. Flush your lungs, okay? Chinese medicine swears by this, okay? As far as having good energy, you're going to get as much oxygen into your lungs as possible. You're going to exhale as much CO2 and contaminants as possible, okay? Now, I'm going to show you one that I call, we got time for this one, I was just looking at my clock. It's called the bow and arrow. The hand motions, some of them are the same. I'm going to do the hand motions first. So again, you're going to breathe in, but this time you cross your hands. When you breathe out, It's like you're pulling a bowstring. One hand goes far away from your body, the other hand just pulls back. Then you inhale, you bring the far hand in, and then on the next exhale, the other hand goes out, and you look at that hand that's going out far. And then inhale, you bring it in, and when you finish, you exhale going down. So I think you can see why we call it the bow or the bow and the arrow, because it's like pulling a bowstring back. Okay? Again, take a couple nice breaths. Okay, do a nice exhale. Inhale, bring your hands up and cross them. Exhale, one hand goes wide, the other just pulls back. So you exhale. Inhale, bring that far hand in. You're going to cross your hands again. Inhale, 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 inhale. Exhale, the other hand goes out. Inhale, bring that far hand in, and the far hand comes close to my body. The other hand's away from it. Then exhale, the other hand goes out. And you try to relax your shoulders. Inhale, bring that far hand in. And then to finish, exhale, your hands just go down. And like I said, you can easily do this one from sitting, okay? So you inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. This is the same with the other one. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. The reason why it's preferred to do these standing, if you can, and there is a reason why the hand position is important. For Qigong breathing, you don't want any sharp bends in your arms and your legs. When you have a bend, it takes more effort, if you will, for the blood to circulate. If your joints are relatively straight, it eases blood flow, okay? And there's a lot of other details to this. You couldn't see from the distance, but never close your eyes entirely. Keep them open a little bit. And you just try to concentrate on your breath. So, okay, I'm concentrating on breathing in. I'm concentrating on breathing out. Really think about it. And you try just to think of your breathing, keeping your arms and legs in the correct position. It takes your mind off everything else. If you're doing this correctly, you can't think of anything else if you're doing this, if you're doing it correctly. And if you're tired after doing this, I challenge you. Try this for just 5 minutes. You're going to be exhausted when you start out. Just 5 minutes of this. You don't think it's a lot of effort, but it is, okay? It's surprising. My teacher, he's given what he calls Qigong seminars for 2 hours, and I am drenched in sweat after the first 15 minutes. He's doing more complicated stuff, but you know, it is good exercise. It really is, and it really helps. So the spirometer, I believe, is you're exhaling and you're trying to keep the little bubble up out there. So the nurse will always come. This is the last comical one, then we're going to go questions. You know, the nurse will always come in and she'll put that arrow up like halfway up the tube. And she said, you know how to do it? I said, yeah, I've done it a couple times. So I peg it at the top and I hold it there for my whole exhale. And she looks at me, I said, I'm a martial artist. I do this for a living. It really does. It really does help. I passed along with Larry. Before COVID, I was working at a cancer support center, working with people who were either, you know, undergoing treatment, had finished treatment, and we were doing Tai Chi and Qigong. We were doing the whole 9 yards, our typical curriculum. After about 3 weeks, one lady comes up to me and said, Paul, thank you so much for the breathing. I had lung cancer and I had half a lobe removed. This has really helped me be able to breathe. And I feel like I got more energy. And I said, great, that's what it's supposed to do. So something I tell my students often, just because you don't understand why something works doesn't mean it doesn't work, okay? You got to keep going. You got to keep moving. That's why I'm still here after all of this. Sorry, Larry, I got to show off. You know, I could do things like that.
Oh, look, we have somebody.
Okay.
Who is that?
Which one?
I think she's with Mr. Frank. Is that Miss Barbara? Am I seeing Miss Barbara? Yeah, right here. Yep. The lady standing next to Miss Barbara.
Yep. And you know, it's people look at me when I do things like that. I said, you keep moving. Don't give up. You work up to it.
Look
Okay.
at Miss Barbara go. Come on, Jen, let's see it.
Very good. I bet you were a dancer. I bet you were a dancer. Were you a dancer? I think,
Yes,
Yes.
now we're unmuted.
Yes.
of course,
Ballet.
of course.
Thank you.
My wife took Spanish